Hi guys, I'm back again today with our daily video reaction, and today we're checking out how just living in Europe made me healthy. Well, firstly, maybe walking more, bicycle, or maybe healthier food because Europe um doesn't have all those extra cancerous ingredients or crazy ingredients. My friend was talking about the fact that when they went to Australia recently for a tour, you know, they thought the food was bland, and I was like, sheet of paper. So it means that Filipino food is as bad as obviously American food. Right? Because it's like everything that you get there is so bland. They don't allow, this type of product, and you couldn't find a lot of like Filipino products because they're banned in Australia. And even if there is a product that it doesn't taste the same as the ones that we have here. So I'm like, sheet of paper, we are on the bad end. Then we are now accustomed to that taste that is not gonna make us healthy. So yeah, let's see how this man in particular got healthier here in English in Europe. Well, before we do start, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't, and click the bell button so that you get notified whenever I do upload a video, because sometimes I do miss a day or two in a regular Monday to Friday situation. If you're a big fan of like, K-dramas or Japanese series, check out my Patreon. Maybe you will find something that you want to watch there as well. I'm just saying. Well, let's get it.
Did just living in Europe help me get into better shape? The results may surprise you. I'm not proud to show this photo, but like many Americans during the pandemic, I ate all of my favorite comfort foods and enjoyed many.
It's so weird. In the pandemic, I lost weight more than I gained weight, because my brain is just the opposite. Like literally, people gain weight when they're in a relationship. I lose weight when I'm in a relationship. You know why? Because I'm like, I'm not about to like lose you because I'm gonna gain weight. But then when I'm single, I always think to myself, like, who am I impressing? No one. So let me just eat everything and anything under the sun. So that's how my mentality works, if you were wondering. Nobody cares, Rookie.
During the pandemic, I ate all of my favorite comfort foods and enjoyed many nooner beers, which means having a beer at noon. So about 8 months ago, I made a video about how on average, Americans are much more obese than Europeans. And I vowed in that video to eat a primarily healthy vegan diet, quit drinking beer, and exercise as much as I could. And then I would show you guys the results in 6 months. But I have to be honest, when I arrived to Europe, I didn't stick to any of these things. I drank copious amounts of wine and beer and ate all of the delicacies in the different countries that I had visited. I wasn't—
Yes, you have to. You have to. Like, you're going to a freaking new country. Why are you gonna adhere to health and wealth? Health. Like, enjoy, at least for the first week, and then you can think about health afterwards. Like, especially if you go to Europe, like, you have to indulge in cheese. Like, if you indulge in the wine, I guess. But for me, I'm not gonna go to Europe and not eat, especially cheese. Like, I'm literally hoarding all the cheese in my check-in luggage. Like, customs, like, let me be, okay? Let me be. I think in the Philippines it's gonna be fine if you hoard a lot of cheese, because what you do is you just tell the customs, like, I'll give you like a wheel of Parmesan, and then they'll be like, oh, okay, you can go.
Just gonna pass up on the pain au chocolat in Paris or the duck and dumplings in Prague. What are you, crazy? I mean,
know, right?
Could you blame me? In Europe, 15% of Europeans are obese, whereas in the United States, 36% of Americans are obese. That is a massive number difference. Is it because the food in Europe is much more high quality and doesn't have things like additive fillers, GMOs, and chemicals? Is it contributed to the amount of coffee and cigarettes Europeans consume? Is it attributed to the amount of walking that Europeans do that Americans?
Why am I offended by this number? I thought we will have less obesity in this country. According to the survey between July 2021 and June 2022, 38.6% of adults aged 20 to 59 in the Philippines are diagnosed as obese or overweight. Is it because we're shorter? So we pack in more fat, calories, because like Americans have like a huge length to fill before they reach obesity, but for us we have a smaller frame, then we are considered obese. Is that the situation here? I would have never guessed. Well, maybe we're the less healthier Asians in the entire Asian race, probably. We'll see.
Europeans consume? Is it attributed to the amount of walking that Europeans do that Americans don't? Turns out it's a combination of all of these. The United States food industry is more about quantity than quality. They add many preservatives and fillers to make it cheaper and last longer. I had a friend from the United States that had Crohn's disease, and when he ate bread in the United States, he had massive medical issues. But when he came to Europe, he could eat as much gluten and bread as he wanted to. What's the deal with that?
It was important for me to know my family history, and honestly, I didn't know that much. So I collaborated with MyHeritage, and they helped me build a family tree. Wow, so I'm inputting everyone from my family tree, and now I'm gonna add a picture of myself. So this is my entire family tree here. You can search over 19 billion historical documents on MyHeritage to find records of your family members. There is this really cool feature called Instant Discoveries, which is automatically generated when you add in family members, and it allows you to add an entire branch of your tree with just the click of a button. I discovered a bunch of names and relatives that I had no idea existed. Mom, can you believe that I found a bunch of Grandpa's cousins on here?
Oh wow, that is so cool.
They also have this really cool feature where you can upload black and white photos like I'm doing of my grandfather here, and you can repair them and colorize, enhance them, and even animate the photo. Here I just found...
I have done this before. There is a small part of my brain that remembers. I don't know what year, but there was like this, you know, every year we have a festival in this city. And during those festivals, there's a lot of stalls that come around from all over the Philippines. And there was one stall that does this. And they will like they will let you fill up this family information and so on and so forth, and this is the explanation they gave us, like, yeah, people maybe from all over the world, or you know, your past relatives, you could find each other one day. But I don't know how to do it. I don't even know if it is MyHeritage. I forget. I have a short-term memory, like not super short, like I will forget in 2 seconds, but probably tomorrow I will forget, right? But the thing is, I will remember like 50 years from now, and that's the insane thing. Like, I will forget your name today, but then 10 years you ask me, I'll be like, oh yeah, your name is this and that, and we met here. My brain is stupid, but it's okay. So I will try to search later if it's the same site.
Colorize, enhance them, and even animate the photo. Here I just found city records of my grandma that I've never met before, getting a replacement for her social security card back in 1951, which includes her mother and father's names, which I didn't know. Super cool. Definitely wouldn't have known any of this if I didn't do this, and I'm glad I did. Sign up for a free 14-day trial to enjoy all of MyHeritage's amazing features. If you decide to continue your subscription, you will get a 50% discount. There is a link in the description below and the first pinned comment.
The fact that there are massive aisles of cereals that are just made up of corn and sugar absolutely baffles me. There was a point in time where the marketing in the United States said that cereals were a healthy breakfast. Now, in more recent times, you've had these organic grocery stores showing up all over the United States. But it costs a premium to shop at places like Whole Foods or Erewhon, and you pretty much have to be rich to be super healthy in the United States. Whereas Europe has been doing this kind of food forever, and even Mexico has been doing farm to table forever. And I also think it is the culture as well, where people in the United States choose the easier, faster option. It's such a fast-paced life in the United States that sometimes it's easier just to go through a drive-through. Now, there are fast food drive-thrus in Europe, but most people choose different, healthier options and eat fast food in moderation. And the fast food in Europe is much smaller portioned than the ones in the United States. But there's no doubt that when I'm in Europe, I walk so much more than I do in the United States. And I think this is by design. During the automotive boom in the early 20th century, many deals were done to invest heavily into highways instead of trains. And that's how America became such a car-centric culture. And I do think this contributes to Europeans walking a lot more on average than Americans. So after living in Europe for a little over a year, how did it affect me personally? Now, it's important to highlight that I live in Southern Europe, Portugal to be exact. It is very sunny here and easy to get outside and easy to take walks and hikes and bike rides and go surfing than it is in some other European countries. And for some magical reason, I have no idea how, my body has gone through a transformation. Without really keeping track of my weight or really paying any attention, one day I decided to take a photo in a dressing room and see how it compared with an earlier photo of me. And the results were shocking. And what was most interesting is when I went to the doctor. Now, before I had left the United States, I had taken a blood test that showed that my cholesterol levels were elevated. But fast forward 8 months into living in Europe, and I took another blood test, and my cholesterols had lowered. And not even lowered to normal, but lowered to optimal. So what was it exactly that made me so much more healthy? Was it the real food that didn't contain all of these additives, GMOs, and chemicals? Was it that I was living a less stressful life and living in a more slow-paced environment where my cortisol levels weren't so high? Was it that I was walking and moving a lot more than I was in the United States? It could be all of these factors, but one thing I do know for sure is I'm not mad about it. Now, I'm not claiming that if you move to Europe, you will magically lose all of this weight and be super healthy. But for some strange reason, this has been the case for me. And I kind of don't even know how it happened. But if you want to see more content about living in Europe and Portugal specifically, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button because I will be posting content on this channel every single week. This is some guy named Dave in Portugal, and we'll see you next time.
I wanna eat whatever I wanna eat and then still stay in shape, because with age and in this society that I live in particularly, it's not helping. It's not helping. Like, if you only see my stomach, I know some people are like, oh my gosh, your stomach is so small, and it's small it depends on your eyes, and maybe the camera is making me look good, but it's not small in my eyes, right? It doesn't. It doesn't do justice. Like, it doesn't justify it because of what I'm wearing and everything else. Like, but trust me, it's not healthy, right? Like, if you haven't given birth and you have a big stomach, there's a problem. Okay, in my head, it says there is a problem. And also I read somewhere that if you do and you, haven't given birth and you're not obese or all that. You see, I'm tired already. I just stood. There is a problem. And because of that, yesterday I told myself I was gonna cut sugar for a month and see what happens. Will it be easier for me to lose weight? Like, it's here in my it literally says no sugar, October 17, which is today, to November 17. I just want to see if, like, of course I'll get sugar from like fruits and vegetables and other sources, but those artificial sugar that you put in your coffee, you put in like I'm not gonna have sweets and all that stuff for a month to see if we can get rid of that, you know, because I don't go to the gym as I would. I wish I can't. Like, my schedule is like all over the place. Okay, I'm tired. So guys, I'm gonna go. I need help with health. Maybe I just have to move to Europe. But anyways, thank you guys for joining my long talk, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.